What is up, everybody? This is Kitchen Talks, episode not one, not two, but three. If anyone out here is new, go check out episode 1 and 2. You don't want to miss those. We're just getting started. I am your host, Nathan.
And I'm your other host, Preston.
And without further ado, let's get into this episode. I'm eating some brownie again, like last time.
Good,
When I'm eating brownie, you know it's gonna be a good episode.
good old brownies.
Yer. Um, so Joe Biden's the new president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I
President-elect, heck yeah.
don't give a fuck. um, all this fascism going on.
Yeah, these dictator-like moves on behalf of Trump, they're dangerous as hell.
Very scary. Um, everything sounding all right on your end? Just making sure real quick.
Oh yeah, mine
Okay.
on yours.
Yep. Everything's good. Yeah. So Biden, pull up the results real quick so we can give these people an accurate electoral college breakdown, if you would.
Oh yeah. Let's see. So where it stands right now, Biden is at 279 and Trump is at 217.
Okay. And 270 is the number to get to win the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Biden's the new president elect. Trump thinks he won still.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all, if you live in the U.S., have been hearing and seeing things all over the news on this debacle that's going on, but we'll still talk about it. Basically, Trump and company are shouting voter fraud.
Yep. With no evidence whatsoever.
Zero evidence. Zero actual hard evidence that you could use in court.
Mm-hmm. So
Zero.
yeah, so much so that virtually every court that it's been taken to has shot it down.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking about that today. That a lot of these lawsuits that Trump's filed against certain states have been shot down almost immediately
Mm-hmm.
by respected courts and judges. And uh, you got Trump's team with Rudy Giuliani doing a
Yeah.
press conference in front of some random weird looking location, weird like ghetto looking location in front of like a landscaping company or something.
Then you got Mike Pompeo on the other end.
Oh, that was the most concerning comment to me.
Me too.
I think that was the way he said it too, with that grin. There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. Uh,
Yeah,
Unreal.
absolutely. And it's just that is not something any sitting administration official should say, especially after there's been a projected winner.
The results aren't even close.
No. I mean,
Not close at all. What's that?
yeah, I mean, just 279 compared to 217.
Yeah. Not close at all. It's pretty much a landslide. Well, not a landslide. I mean, to be honest, if we're looking at popular vote, Trump's got at least 70 mil now, right?
Yes, 72.
Yeah, and Biden's got 77.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, still a lot of people on both sides here.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is that how do you argue for fraud when Trump has already gained I think he's gained more votes than Obama did in, was it 2008?
I think so, or 2012 maybe.
Yeah,
Probably 2008. I think 2008.
that's a very hard case to make. I mean, the the results just aren't in his favor. I mean, I'm looking at the map right now, and Biden's
Mhm.
almost at 50% of the vote. Trump's uh, at 49 in Pennsylvania. Um, they're still pretty much tied in Georgia and Arizona. Biden's still in the lead. Uh,
Well, what's that?
no, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that you got also Steve Bannon making comments like behead Dr. Fauci,
Uh huh.
behead anybody who's not on board with the Trump. Basically, what he says, anyone who's not on board, which he was referring to the Republican Party, basically, or Trump's party now, populism with Trump. Um, that is really disturbing,
Mm hmm.
extremely. Like you're talking, we're going back centuries. If that's just disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean that. Well, Steve Bannon, he's a pusher of all kinds of far right conspiracy theories, and
Oh, God.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Not to mention the fact that Trump is now stacking
Mm,
the Defense Department with
that's what I
war.
was going to ask you. What is that an aggressive move to be putting firing anyone who's not a loyalist and just replacing them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's total reactionary mode. If he's putting um, loyalists in that position, he's trying to make sure that there are people there to protect him.
That's not okay.
Yeah, it isn't.
Mm, If we're seeing anything, it's just the flaw in that many of us maybe everyone thinks the U.S. is the most indestructible democracy out there.
No.
This is proving that it can be shattered pretty quick. At least not shattered. I don't think Trump will shatter it, but he's leaving a stain on it and making people question democracy
It-
in the US, which is weird.
yeah. All the while saying that what he's doing is democratic.
Oh God, yeah. Eh, And there was bound to be a leader like Trump to come around though eventually and test the United States. I mean, that it happens in every country. You've always got somebody in history that tests or completely just dismantles the government. Luckily, we've got enough sane people, I think, that that wouldn't happen. But if Trump keeps firing people and replacing them,
Well, and I don't exactly, uh, ironically enough, see a point to him doing that because those people will be replaced by Joe Biden when he
almost
takes off.
immediately,
Yeah.
they'll be gone. That he basically just blue balled those people.
Mm-hmm.
He like here, I'm gonna hire you. You might be out in 2 months.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Well, and stacked on top of the fact he's making Biden's transition even harder. Like he won't give Biden access to classified information. Uh,
Well, there's talks Trump might just go ahead and you know leak some stuff, leak some classified stuff to help his buddy Putin.
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. Uh,
It's just you would think we would be more upbeat and more like happy about the results, but it's just so depressing. Like even talking about what Trump's doing, it's just it's almost like just sucks the energy out of you. Y- Yeah, that's how I feel at least.
Yeah, and that's his goal. man.
Mhm.
He loves giving people a feeling of despair. Uh, He knows how to do that perfectly. And although it's hard to tell, well, I guess he's just trying to divide more and more and more.
Yep. And when people are in despair, they're less likely to stand up and speak out.
Hmm.
Um, well, we're seeing that with some people that we know just not wanting to speak out,
Hmm.
just accepting it, which we can't do that.
Yeah, you have to accept the results. I mean, and it's the killer part is like it's not like Trump doesn't have another chance in 2024 anyway.
Oh, he'll most certainly probably run again if he's not locked up.
Hmm.
I mean, all those lawsuits against him. Do you, that's another thing I don't like is that the president of the United States has, um, oh, what's the word? God, what's the word? Where you're basically not subject to prosecution.
Hmm.
What's it called though?
Oh, God, I should know this. Um, oh yeah, the executive. Um, what is that called? Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, I lost the word for it, but that's what the president has. I think that's stupid.
Executive privilege. I think
Yep,
that's what it's
privilege.
called. Yep.
You he's been safe from stuff like that.
Hmm.
But um it's it's just I mean and we said from the start of this podcast episode 1, it's not going to be a necessarily liberal or one party podcast, but flat out the way Trump acts, it's dangerous and we both don't like him. That's evident.
Hmm.
So that's where this is coming from. I think I wish he would just be a decent person for once and concede.
Yeah.
Like just please. Dude, we don't want any more violence or uprisings from your supporters or just do it. But he can't. He just can't, man. And that's where psychology comes in. It's just being an egomaniac and borderline sociopath. It's just they can't lose. People like Trump can't. It literally would kill him to step up to the podium and say I lost. It would kill him in the inside. He can't do it, man. And that's a sign of insecurity,
Oh,
honestly.
well, you gotta. I mean, you really gotta wonder how he got to that point of narcissistic behavior like that. It just if he must have grown up just being told you will
He
win
told,
every day
yeah,
of the week.
Trumps are gods,
Yeah.
Greek gods, and they're. I still can't get over that one drawing a Trump fan did of him as a like a Greek god, all buff, and that's just absurd.
Yeah, and that's another thing. We've seen those those Trump flags have gone down. I mean, uh,
We have
they were up before Tuesday.
a lot of people we know that fly him brought those suckers down. That might be a little bit of shame. Well, maybe not shame, but just embarrassment to keep flying it. They might his some of his supporters might accept the loss.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like how many of his supporters really really accept what he's saying right now? Do you think a good majority of them? Um,
I would I would hope not,
yeah,
but probably.
yeah, that's just sad.
Yeah, I think a lot of his supporters want one party, just Trump party rule forever, and that's just
Mhm.
scary to think about.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I bet you if Trump could, he'd just make it so the Trump family was forever rulers of the U.S.
I wouldn't put
like
it past him at all.
like a hierarchy type thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, pass it down to his sons, and you know some royalty type crap.
Yeah, stupid monarchy bullshit.
But even that, he's too selfish to do. He wants it forever,
Yeah. He doesn't even
even
want
when
it
he
for his own
dies.
family.
No, yeah, he literally, even when he dies, he wants to still be the have his just a statue. And God, he compares himself to Abe Lincoln for what he's done to black people, which is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Absolutely, let's be honest. Abe Lincoln was really kind of a cocksucker.
Mm.
I mean,
No.
no, he wasn't a cocksucker, but he was not so much not a prejudiced person. He did li- help with I mean, he did free slaves technically, but hold on. Oh God, I had to sneeze. He did technically technically. Fuck. He did technically free slaves, but he. I think you've told me that he owned slaves.
Yeah, I think he did.
I don't know. I shouldn't throw out facts I don't know, but uh, he wasn't some saint to the black community. I don't believe
Y
back then, at least.
yeah, his main goal during the Civil War too was just to make sure that the South didn't break off. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think there is some debate on whether he was.
was really that great.
Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, if you look at it just at the terms of freeing slaves, and yeah, he's the best, great. But the point was Trump comparing himself to that is ridiculous.
yeah,
If I'm telling you guys that Abe Lincoln's not amazing, then Trump's really not amazing.
yeah. He
Look up MAGA Hulk on Google Images.
MAGA Hulk. Oh God,
Let me make sure you're seeing the right image. See, this is
big
where we need a screen record and like,
big buff dude.
oh, yep, the big buff African American feller with the he's obsessed with Trump. Um, yeah,
Is he is he similar to the conservative twins? Because I
yeah,
he's wearing the same outfit as.
as they would wear.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, for those who don't see what we're looking at right now, it's just this big bodybuilder. Look it up on Google Images, MAGA Hulk, and he is a huge Trump supporter. Basically, what I'm saying is Trump did get a lot of uh, minority vote, and a lot of that I think is well, I don't want to get too s- skeptical, but I think a lot of the reason for that is because it's kind of like African Americans. Let's be honest, have been told that they should vote liberal for a long time. It's like just oh, you're a minority, Hispanics too, any minority, you got to vote liberal. That like when Biden said, "You ain't black if you don't vote Biden." Well, he
Mhm.
didn't mean it like that, but it's. I think a little bit it was like, "Nah, I'm gonna vote for whoever the hell I want." Like there's this one guy too on YouTube, this rapper that just raps about Trump, dude. Just raps about Trump, and the conservative twins, Hodge twins, aka Hodge twins, they post his music videos on their YouTube channel. Yeah,
Yeah, he did get, an increase in the African American vote, didn't he?
He did, and he got guys like Lil Wayne and Ice Cube. They didn't necessarily come out and say I'm voting for Trump, but they took pictures with him. Lil Wayne did at least. And, uh, in my opinion, even 50 Cent. So these are rappers that endorse Trump. 50 Cent definitely did. He said because Biden's taxes, he didn't want his taxes increased, so he's like, yeah, fuck Biden, I'm voting for Trump. But um, so yeah, he and when influential figures support a president, it does. There's a lot of people that just vote based on who their idols vote for, man.
Mhm.
Uh, Jennifer Lopez, Lopez and uh, A Rod voted or endorsed Biden on Instagram.
Yeah.
So the celebrity endorsements has always been a big thing in politics, but yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that, but just that I think a lot of big celebrities that endorse Trump helped that minority vote, in my opinion.
Yeah, it probably has a huge impact, or else they wouldn't bring him into the campaign like that.
Yeah. Um. So going back to Abe Lincoln here. Not as tall as hell. Um. Do you think there would ever be another civil war? We hear a lot of talk about another civil war.
Um, I really hope not.
Yeah,
That
really hope not.
that's tough because there is a ton of polarization right now, and the depending on which way it's so weird because a lot of people thought that um, depending on who won the election on election night, that would stir up civil unrest.
Yeah.
It hasn't, but I get this strange feeling that depending on who actually takes the White House, which it most definitely has to be Biden because of the results, but
You would think.
yeah, that people are going to be really upset. I mean, that's if Trump somehow manages to stay there. That that isn't good news for civil uh, discourse at all. So,
There will be mass riots
mhm.
if that were to happen. Let's see here. I'm just looking at some more headlines, but I'm not seeing much interesting here on my phone. But yeah, that covers that whole. It's been a wild post-election for sure, and it's still going on. So there's going to be a lot to talk about in that uh, category of things
Yeah.
for a while. Um, Man, Trump forgot about the TikTok ban. Uh, they're still. They actually asked him, like, "What's going on, dude?" He just kind of left us out to dry here.
Yeah, which shows you how serious he was about that. What
Yeah, he didn't care.
his reasoning for doing that was just to deliver another hit on China, right?
I'm pretty sure he said it was for security reasons
Yeah.
because China was accused of spying on people through the comments or something weird like that. Um, some form of spying, quote quote unquote. I don't know if it was really spying, but Trump was like, we're getting rid of this, and never did. So it's still there on the App Store, and TikTok is toxic anyway,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
Well, it's really hard to get rid of something through an executive order. I mean, it's yeah, I mean that has to be done through legislation.
Yeah,
You can't.
if you're a dictator, you can say, "Hey, delete this."
Hmm.
But sadly for Trump, he can't just say something and have it happen like poof. That's what he wants, though. Let's
Mhm.
be honest.
Yeah, that's why he makes those kinds of orders in the first place.
Just to test it. I feel like I feel like this whole campaign was just from the start. I'm gonna test how strong democracy is really, and I'm gonna expose people and just be a total asshole. I think that was his goal.
Mhm.
Let me just go out with a bang. He's getting older. Just let me test democracy. See if I think he started it out as just a like, let's try see if I can be a president.
Which that is
It started, yeah.
that's just so selfish, man.
Yeah, it really is. He's basically saying he's having fun is what he's doing. Just toying around with us and with the country because he can and because he's coming to the end of his life and I think that's just what he wanted to do. I really do. If you look at past interviews, he would always talk about being a president someday. So I think he always just knew he would do that someday.
Mhm. And he'd always beat around the bush on it and build up
Yeah.
suspense.
He's just an egomaniac. Absolutely. But it's nice hearing Biden's speech about COVID and Obamacare or healthcare and it's nice to hear someone talk like Biden, like talk presidential
Mhm. And
and not
answer
dance
questions.
around. Yeah, not dance around questions.
I think I've watched more Biden's speeches in the past week than I have any of Trump's. Well, Trump hasn't been making any, but I mean he's
He's building suspense.
Mhm. Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Whoa, it's the sleeping duck. What's he gonna do next?" And then he's gonna pop out and insult democracy once again, in my opinion.
Yep.
Um, yeah, COVID, man, this shit's gotta end.
Yeah.
I'm getting so sick of it. It seems like people are like my dentist texted me the other day and said we're gonna have to reschedule your appointment. Someone was exposed in the office and she tested negative, but she just for precaution, and we obviously have people around us like coming in close contact with it, false negative tests, and are maybe not, maybe they really didn't get it, but just it's getting too close to home. I'm tired of it.
Yep. Me too. And
And every time I cough or anything like I just did, I start that hypochondria sets in. It's ridiculous.
yeah, and people are not taking it seriously. You remember that Onion video I showed you? The Onion, that satire news organization?
Yeah, yeah,
And they asked what will be different from the third wave or something like that, and they said Americans will find a way to take it even less seriously than they did
yeah,
before.
yeah. Dude, there's gonna be major consequences.
Yeah,
Major. We're gonna surpass like 500,000 deaths, dude, if people don't start shaping up.
yeah, seriously, this is getting fucking stupid.
Fuck, it could even get to 1 million deaths, dude. If people, I mean, if people keep being stupid, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you've came into contact with people who have given you shit over asking them to put on a mask. I'm not going to say where, whatever, but you have,
yeah,
and I haven't, but I've because I don't ask because I know they will get pissed. You've got more balls than me doing that, but um, that's ridiculous, man.
yeah. And I wonder, like, because it's gotta. You'd think it at some point it, it'll hit them. Like, huh? This is not something to be screwing around with. Like, it,
You'd think.
yeah, but I guess.
I guess they think it's all fake.
Hmm.
That these morgues and cemeteries and hospitals. My mom told me hospitals are turning down patients with brain bleeds because they're running out of hospital beds
Wow.
because of the amount of cases, and that's down here. So Yeah, it's when hospitals are running out of room, God, pretty soon they're just gonna have to take old people in and leave young people out. It's probably what they already do. Like, if you're younger, you're just gonna have to deal with it at home and try to survive it.
And this is all being done to by our fellow peers.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And when at work when we first started having to wear masks, I remember, or we didn't have to yet, but I did. I started to wear a mask from the beginning and gloves, and they called me a pussy, and coworkers poke fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, seriously?
Yeah.
And sure, maybe it was kidding, but not really. Felt more personal than
Oh
that.
yeah, they weren't.
Yeah, they were serious. And then pretty soon it's mandated, and look who's laughing now.
Mm-hmm.
You're all wearing it, so yeah, that was one thing that rubbed me the wrong way, and I knew from that point on that it was going to be rough to get people to comply.
Mm-hmm. I think the only time they really comply is if they're at work,
Yeah, if they're absolutely forced to.
which may be a positive sign if there's a nationwide mandate to wear a mask.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they got to enforce it somehow.
mm-hmm,
Like, if you're caught not wearing one, there has to be punishment.
mm-hmm.
There has to be a fine or something that they can enforce, because you're not gonna that people are too stubborn to just. You'd think someone would have the decency to just say, "Yeah, I'll put one on," of course, but unfortunately, a lot of people are assholes, and they won't do it.
And shit, I mean, you still see people walk around any grocery store, no mask.
Oh, it amazes me that you see like 80-plus-year-olds not wearing one. Like, dude, you get this shit, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, you're put at significant risk if you get it. And
But they're walking around like it's nothing.
yeah,
Man, I can't wait till it's over. Some people are acting like it's already over, and they have been. They've acted like it never existed, so their life will continue to be the same.
mm-hmm.
But those of us who have been somewhat following the um, recommendations, it'll be nice.
Yeah, because what I mean, in a lot of the people that have convinced themselves that it's nothing is because they look at, especially in our area where there wasn't a ton of cases. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why they didn't see they didn't feel it was serious was because the impact of it was not severe,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's getting severe.
And the misinformation,
Mm-hmm.
conspiracies about it from the very start, saying it was leaked out of a lab, and Bill Gates released it. And Bill Gates, dude, why would he do that?
He's the
uh,
one of the leaders in trying to defeat infectious disease.
yeah, people don't think. Um, it's misinformation. People like to point fingers at elites and people of status, like like they're trying to ruin their lives. Like they really give a shit about some middle class person that's disgruntled.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the least of their thoughts, man. They're trying to do bigger things. I don't think they're really worried about releasing by. If they wanted to kill us all, they'd go with something on the phone or something. Like, you really think
Yeah.
they just released a virus that only has a 99% death rate? And that 99% death, I mean, sorry, 99% survival rate. 99% death rate would be terrifying, but 99% survival rate. That sounds misleading though. when you say that, because that's what people say, like, oh well, 99% survival rate, it's nothing to worry about. Well, that's just, you got to look at the numbers as a whole, and there is a lot of deaths too. There's absolutely a lot of deaths.
Oh yeah, and there are still people that believe that the death rates from the flu are much higher than COVID.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
I mean, that was
Nope.
debunked long ago.
I'm just gonna fact check myself here. We gotta. I wish fact checking was just a. We always had to be fact checked. I don't want to spread misinformation. COVID survival rate. I swear it was 99%, or maybe Trump told me that. The president. Uh, Mortality rate. COVID is higher than influenza. Yeah. Um, 3 to 4%. So the flu mortality is well below 0.1%, with reported deaths. So the crude mortality ratio. This is off newsroom something. Crude mortality ratio is 3 to 4% for COVID. So about 96, 97% survival rate. So I was close, but yeah. So it's actually, that's not pretty
Yeah.
by any means.
Well,
Man.
and the main thing is if you have a pre-existing condition of any sort,
Oh God.
you're put at risk big time, as opposed to if you just got the flu. I mean, I wonder if
Sipping your beer.
yeah.
Yar.
Durr,
Yar.
durr. We got yeah. It's I'm looking it up here. Pre um oh, see, that's what scares me, man. Um
Asthma.
yep. Yeah, it says here which underlying conditions can worsen the illness with COVID, and asthma is one of the first one.
Oh. Yeah.
Moderate to
Gotta be
severe,
careful.
and that's coming from the CDC.
Center for Disease Control.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very valid source.
Yeah, anything asthma, cerebral, cystic fibrosis. Yeah,
Oh God.
like if you have anything that's a pre-existing condition, you're put at a significant risk.
Yeah. eh, And you hate to worry about it, but if you ignore it too, it's not smart to ignore it either.
Mm-mm.
Well, I saw this. Some lady got it, and she was paralyzed from the waist down for a month.
Yeah, that's what's odd about this.
Like, what the hell's going on? Is this some kind of attacks your nervous system?
That's the thing about it. It's so weird. It affects a lot of people in different ways. Like you may get a headache and a sinusy nose, or
Then you're done.
yeah, or you get
Paralyzed?
paralyzed, or you
Jeez,
get pneumonia, and you have a hard time breathing. It's
that's terrifying.
yeah,
Like the paralyzed thing, that's terrifying. And this lady was like only like 25, 30. I actually don't know her exact age. She looked young though. It was on a Snapchat thing. But yeah, she was talking about how she got just her legs stopped working for a while, man. That's insane. She must have some kind of pre-existing thing though.
yeah.
I feel like you got to have something already kind of wrong with your nervous system for that to happen. because that's pretty severe.
Well, and apparently, like, it can just make you, um, you can't taste anything. You lose a sense of, taste. That could be a symptom. In fact, that's kinda, I think that's common.
Yeah, you lose your taste.
Mhm,
Well, these first 3 episodes we've done have definitely been surrounded by politics and COVID.
mhm.
That's just what's going on in the world right now. Um, but everything passes.
Yep, it will.
It's a blink in time, man. It's pandemics happen every century, around every century, every 100 years. So we're living in one, which is crazy to be alive during one.
Yeah.
Well, not really when you think. I mean, wow, fact check that one. How often do do pandemics happen? My grandpa told me it happens every century, so that's where I got that fact from. We're gonna be good about checking facts when we say crap on this podcast because a lot of people don't check themselves.
Let's see. Uh,
It's easy to. I've noticed how easy it is to just throw out things, man, and that's what Trump does. He just throws out things, and I've noticed I do it too. And we all do it. Anything you trying to twist it in your own word, just say what comes to your mind, something you might have read for like a split second. That's what starts misinformation.
mhm.
That's why I'm trying to really check stuff. What'd you find?
Uh, so so one every 30 to 35 years or so, it's coming from University of Minnesota. There have been 9 influenza pandemics around the past 300 years, so one every 30 to 35 years or so.
Oh, okay. But the type of this magnitude is probably less rare or
Yeah.
more rare.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever had a pandemic that's been worldwide like this.
God, H1N1 and Ebola, Obama was on top of.
Mhm.
Trump claims Obama did terrible with H1N1, but that's simply not true.
Mhm.
He did awesome. And Ebola too. Ebola, man, if that would have spread over here, oh God,
Yeah, that
that would have been a nightmare. That is a nasty, nasty disease. Nasty virus.
yeah, it that had a the death rate on that was pretty
Oh, it's like 50%. It is 50%.
wow.
Yeah, it's 50%. And like I remember looking that up too, but I'm gonna do it one more time just to make sure. But yeah, it's 50%. I'm almost certain. Ebola death rate. Whoa. Death rate of 90%. My bad.
Wow.
Whoa. Yeah. Ebola. Uh Fatality rate of up to 90%. So that is scary. And it would make you bleed out of your eyes and weird crap like that. Like
How
yeah, I don't know. It's terrifying.
how did that one start?
That's a good question.
I wonder what scientists
There's no vaccine for that either, is there?
I don't know. I think
Let's see. Ebola vaccine. Oh, there is. They approved it December 2019. So they do. They have one.
okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But there's been some nasty ones, man. And back in the day, the olden days, if you got um like the plague or the Spanish flu, you were done.
Mhm.
Like the medical care, you were done. Terrifying.
Yeah, and they primarily like I remember in my Western Civ class, they told us that they primarily relied on religion and witch doctors, I think that's what they were
Yeah.
called,
Yeah.
to get rid of it.
Witch doctors. Mhm. natural remedies and put some incense smoke in your face and breathe it in. You're good. Yeah, no.
That did not work. Yeah, so I just looked this up. It comes from Ebola comes from bats or non-human primates with bats, or non-human primates, chimpanzees, apes, monkeys being the most likely source.
COVID came from the same thing.
Yeah, get rid of the bats.
Oh God, they eat some weird stuff in China, dude. Not this isn't even like
Hmm.
a shot at China. I'm just saying they do. It's their culture though, so it's not weird to them. But to an American, it is strange.
Well, those
Like I've seen videos of literally biting the head off a mouse and eating
yeah, the,
it.
those wet markets are. I think that's really where COVID started. Right, is in the wet markets.
Pretty sure.
I mean that. I'm looking at some pictures now, and it's just like, yeah, that's there.
Wuhan.
Wuhan virus. Yeah, that they called it the Wuhan virus initially, didn't they?
Yep. Did they get it under control in China?
Let me see. COVID.
Seems like the U.S. is the only one who really hasn't gotten it. The curve to stop.
Yeah, and we didn't even didn't even start it.
Flatten the curve.
Yeah, it is way down,
Yeah.
way down. Their curve is flattened.
And ours is rising.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, we're in the middle of a dark winter. Is that what they called it? Yep. It's way up there.
God. Dark winter.
And
It's a dark winter's always dark.
mm-hmm.
Biden. Biden's it's gonna be a dark winter. Biden and his jog out to the stage and him laughing at Pompeo. Hold on one
Oh
second.
yeah,
Let
that.
me look this up real quick. Hold on, here it is. Can you hear it?
Uh huh. Yeah.
Biden's laughing.
Mhm.
Hold on one second. Huh. Here it is. Yeah, whatever. He basically just chuckled and smiled and
Mhm.
said, Pompeo.
Secre Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
And just started laughing. Yeah. Look up the video if you want to watch that because couldn't find the specific audio of it. But yeah, Biden's awesome. Oh, man. Th- Pompeo, man.
Yeah.
What a freaking idiot. Man.
Yeah, that's it I the American public's gonna remember that one.
Oh, yeah. So basically, what he's telling people is your vote doesn't matter. I'm telling you who's going to be elected again.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
In a democracy, that's what he's saying.
Yeah. But man, it, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I keep checking the news to see what's being done, and I think Biden and Harris are gonna have to push really hard to get the transition going. I mean, they may have to take it to the Supreme Court because it, you can't not have the president elect be able to look at classified information and be able to make sure that those agencies are up and running by the time they get in.
Yeah, there has to be some way for them to say, okay, Trump, you got to stop this shit.
Yeah, this is stupid.
Oh, man. And I just, I just wish that there'd be some common ground.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately,
Just
that's not gonna.
what's that?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, that's. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Trump is dead set on staying in there.
Man, what do you think about social media and well, you haven't been on TikTok and seen the Trump TikTokers, have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, there's the Trump TikTokers and the Biden TikTokers. It's like a oh, it's toxic, man.
Is
It's absolutely toxic.
is this recently after the
Yeah,
election?
there's just a lot of MAGA accounts. Oh, it's been before the election too.
Oh, okay.
That's that video of that girl, that lady saying, "You don't have to like Trump, but you can't tell me this ain't the cutest thing you ever seen." Of Trump dancing.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's TikTok. Yeah, that's yeah. So there's. I was just gonna say it. Social media is definitely contributing to all this polarization, which is said it's evident.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and people are switching over to a new. Well, conservatives are the parlor is what it's called.
Hmm. Yeah, the parlor.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna download that app. I just want to see what. Well, I might not download it, but I'm gonna look it up real quick on the App Store. Parlor, huh?
Yeah.
That's where that cop was. Was it in AZ or one of these battleground states? I think, but he was on Parlor and he was on Parlor and was saying how liberals should basically be killed. And
Wow.
if you see him on this, no, I told you that. I think,
Oh, yep. Now I remember.
yeah, kill all Democrats, and then he resigned. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
Speak Free. It's Parlor with an ER, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Unbiased social media is what the description is, or what the catch to it is. It says unbiased social media. Non-biased free speech social media. Create your own community. Yeah. So really it's just an enabler for idiocy.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, take this shit off the App Store. That's toxic. They're basically giving more reason for these hate groups to gather and get stronger. That's all that does.
Mhm.
That is stupid. Private the description. Private private message your squad. Come on.
Wow. And you know what's weird is Facebook and Twitter and all those other social media apps are they have the same amount of free speech that they do on that stupid fucking thing. It's not like all Facebook and Twitter is doing right now, and I don't know about Instagram, but they're just fact checking posts.
Well, yeah, I guess on one Instagram post of Trump, they fact pull up if you pull up Trump's Instagram, he posted a Veterans Day something, and I guess they even like fact checked that, like said something about election. So they're going overboard a little bit. But I guess when you have a guy like Trump doing what he's doing, they probably got automated fact checks pop up for him. The
Uh,
Parlor, here's the Parlor CEO right here. He says people are fed up with Twitter, want free speech on social media. Dude, there is free speech on social media. There, Twitter and companies like that are censoring if something is totally just wrong
mm-hmm,
because that's dangerous. There's free speech, and then there's just misinformation, which is dangerous, and hate speech. It's like a private or user agreement rules. Like, here's what you can and can't do on the app. They'll ban you for posting naked pictures, whatever, so they can censor you too.
mm-hmm.
Th- those apps have every right to do that. They're not censoring free speech. They have every right. It's their app, and they can decide if they want that kind of hate flowing around, and they've decided no, and they're willing to censor the president.
Yeah.
The only reason Trump's account's not banned like they did to Steve Bannon is because he's the president and they can't. It's in their agreement. They can't do that to leaders. But as soon as he's out of office, they can ban his account. And Steve Bannon, man, they banned his account right away when he was talking about beheading Fauci on his podcast and all that.
Oh, I bet he'll be on Parlor here soon. I bet.
Oh yeah,
I bet you he already is.
put their heads on pikes.
Uh,
Poor Fauci. Fauci's done nothing wrong,
no,
dude. And he gets death threats all the time, he says.
God, he's the most straightforward.
He's not even partisan.
No, I think every interview he has and every press conference he gives is always centered on the facts only of the virus.
Yeah, it's never partisan.
Mm-hmm. He's probably sitting there going, God, this is how partisan the right has become.
Yeah. I speaking of social media apps, I don't know what the next big app would be to be created, man. There's so many already. It would have to be really unique and up one up Instagram or Twitter. Facebook also. Those three are the big giants. It would have to somehow be better than those.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems seems like there's just a circle of interchangeably of three apps all the time of social media, three major apps, and it's been that way for a while now. I mean, Facebook owns Instagram now, so I guess it's under Facebook, but yeah, those three, man, and the rest are kind of just there. TikTok isn't necessarily a giant; it's just video creation. But
Do you think there will ever be a competitor to TikTok?
uh, oh yeah, I think so. Instagram already is doing similar things called Reels, where it's short videos, also kind of like TikTok. The format's similar. Uh, and Vine was TikTok before TikTok, kind of. So yeah, I think so. Um, but Parler's a terrible idea. Parler seems to me like Reddit, where you get a little group going.
Mm-hmm.
I like Reddit because Reddit's pretty biased too, because you get the subreddits and it's all people of like mindedness, and it makes for just extreme polarization. That's dangerous, man. Parler, but Reddit banned the Trump MAGA subreddit though. They banned it because it was getting too white supremacist, Haiti, like just they banned it.
Really, I didn't know that. So they.
Yep, there was a Trump subreddit that they had to ban because it was getting too much hate speech. And if Parler's saying, "Well, you're not going to censor anything," okay, well, you're enabling acts of violence and hate speech. Then
Mm-hmm.
you better be ready to be held responsible for the forming of intense and recruitment of intense groups.
Yeah, and that's scary too.
Like, okay, so ISIS could form a group on the app
Mm-hmm.
if they really are so about free speech.
Yeah.
I think there's an extent to free speech. There is an extent to free speech in the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, it's hate speech is God.
You just can't do it,
Mm-hmm. I think there's a
especially if it's threatening lives. It's illegal,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
To say kill all Muslims,
mhm,
stuff like that. That's threatening.
yeah,
That's what some people keep saying in these groups. It's ridiculous, man. And apps like Parler, Mr. CEO, I'm so great. We're not going to censor anything. God, I get the point. They want people to be able to express themselves, but some forms of expression are just better left unsaid.
yep. Keep them to yourself.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where things turn now.
Virtual reality too, man.
Yeah, that's another one that's picking up steam.
Virtual reality. I worry about virtual reality though.
Yeah, that seems.
It's escapism. It's a form of escapism.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is, and I think that's going to be the one medium that's most vulnerable to AI.
Mm-hmm.
And AI is getting potentially dangerous too, isn't it?
It is. It seems like there's a lot of lost souls out there
Yeah.
in the U.S. right now in the world with social media because I see a lot of low self esteem, low because you're constantly comparing, and that's why these groups and things like these other vulnerabilities that we're talking about is so intense for like people get latched onto ideas and are willing like groups like ISIS admit they look for disgruntled Americans like that may be willing to join that
Mm-hmm.
just seem like they want a place when humans feel like they're not a part of something They t if they you obviously have to be a little out there to join a group like that, but, like, people wanna belong, so they'll look for even extremes just to be a part of something, and they'll adapt to that ideology. That's why it's dangerous, and we've got a lot of that issue now in the world I'm seeing because there's so much stimulation and fakeness and body image stuff, like, "You gotta look like this," whatever, because that's social media, and it's creating a lot of low self-esteem, which then turns to anger, which then turns to, "I gotta get back at people, join a group. Oh, screw it, ISIS is hitting me up. I'm gonna join ISIS." I don't even believe in any of their stuff, but man, they're taking me in, they're treating me like family. They want me to go do this, okay, I'll do it just as long as I can fit in, It's dangerous,
Mhm.
and that's the problem we face in today's world. Yeah, that's my biggest problem I think needs to be solved is people's no one focuses on it. They wanna talk about the economy and foreign relations. I think you start talking about the souls of Americans,
Mhm.
self-esteem, making sure everyone feels decent about themselves no matter how different they are, no matter who they are, and that they're not alone. That's what I think needs to really be brought into light.
I 100% agree. That if that
Why don't politicians ever talk about that though?
because they're stuck on the kitchen table issues that that mainstream voters vote on. It's because a lot of those people that are feeling soulless to begin with don't vote.
You're right.
And and if they don't vote, they're going to be ignored by politicians until they speak up.
It just seems like it's swept under, huh?
Mhm.
Focus on the big issues, but I think in order to get to big issues, you got to solve the minute issue first,
Mhm.
which is if everyone felt good about themselves, man, and felt decent, there would be more unity.
Yeah.
That's how it works. When you have a bunch of isolated, angry people, that's just a storm brewing,
Yeah.
and that's what we face right now. It's what I see, at least. And I fall victim to the comparisons, just the anger of wanting to stand out, whatnot,
Mhm.
and be something. That's the one I face. Not the extremism of joining a group, but just being something in terms of success and whatnot. That's the problem. I know how that feels. The anger you get too when you're not where you want to be yet. But that's what I wish politicians would focus on is like, let's solve these social, emotional issues. Emotional issues first. Start at the person level and the household level and work your way up.
Yeah.
I wish it was like that. Instead, they're trying to start at the max level and work their way down, will not work. You need some sort of some roots to support the whole structure.
Exactly.
That's my best analogy for it. And the roots are people's emotions and feelings. That's what it is. And self image. I think those are the roots that hold the rest of it together. When you got people feeling good about themselves, the economy will boom because more people will be likely to get out there and get a job and not be hooked on drugs and have some hope and be more entrepreneurial and fearless in pursuing what they want to do. You know, households will be more together, people will be less violence. Climate change will probably be less of an issue if people were like that too, because when people feel good, they want to help
Yeah.
the earth as well. Yeah, that's what I just popped in my head just now. But yeah, I wish that's what politicians focused on.
I think they will at some point. I mean, eventually they're going to have to realize that because when all else fails, they have to go to the root of the problem.
Yeah. Eventually you have to eventually you can't ignore it anymore that there's a problem with people's image and how they feel about themselves.
Yep. And I think the number one way to fix that is if those people themselves, well, yeah, those people themselves start to run for office.
You're right. Because then they've experienced it firsthand. So I can bring it to light.
Mhm.
A lot of the politicians, let's be honest, some of them worked really hard to get to where they're at, but some of them were born into families of lawyers and politicians, and
Oh yeah, I mean call the Senate the millionaires club.
yeah.
So,
So I mean, they haven't had to deal with that image thing. People searching for who they are instead of here's what you are. Okay, here's what I am. I'm a senator for life.
and then they ignore the root of the problem.
Yeah, they just want to talk about economy and China.
Which most people, maybe on the surface level they care, but not in their everyday lives.
And we got to get last thing here that I'm going to say is we got to get um fix these minimum wage.
Mhm.
Got to fix these jobs, these boring ass jobs, nine to five jobs that just or not 9 to 5 even, just retail type lower level jobs that need to be done, but there's got to be a way to make them less abusive and like dreadful to go into work every day.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be painful to go work. Honestly, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it absolutely shouldn't. And most of the people that say they want those jobs hate them when they get them. Like,
Yeah,
it's what's the point?
yeah. And if people did get treated better at those jobs and wasn't so bad, then the funny thing is the company would actually improve
Yeah.
and they'd see gains in profit instead. It's just backwards.
Yeah, a lot of these companies use back ass words logic just
Yeah.
to justify getting more profits.
Yep. And hey, I don't know if 8 hour shifts just seem too long, man.
Mhm.
I'm starting to think you should just get paid more, but work shorter hours because people get burned out.
Yep, and then they don't want to do anything else by the time they get home.
Yeah, it's a chore to even. So then they just go home and watch Netflix or do whatever, which to unwind. But then by that time, there's no room for anything else if they want to pursue something, a passion or something.
Yeah, that it's almost like the companies want to keep things that way, right?
Yep.
Because they want you to stay, work, and work.
They know how to make it a comfortable environment for sure.
Hmm.
Comfort zone type environment. It doesn't push you or challenge you. You know what to expect. You got security for the most part. Yeah. It's not competitive at all.
No,
You could literally do nothing in some of those jobs and still have a job.
yep, you're still getting paid the same as the other guy.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's the problem with politics, I think, too. Is those things aren't focused on. because it's separate corporations and red tape, and it's just a hassle to even try to change that stuff, it seems. That's at least that's what I think how people look at it. It's a hassle. Take too much time to change it, so just let it keep happening.
Yeah.
Everyone wants change, but no one but seldom actually are a catalyst for it.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to frame that. People are too scared. They're afraid of the outcome of that change, but they're trading the shit reality they have right now for um as opposed to an uncertain future where they may or may not see good results. But chances are they will. I mean, well, they'll see both. The point is just to make that change.
Mm-hmm. Make the change.
Mm-hmm.
Quote quote time, man. Unless you want unless you got anything else to chip in. I got my thoughts out.
No, I got mine out too. I'm ready to give a quote.
We're coming up on an hour and 16 minutes here.
Ooh, oh my god, dude! I flipped to an awesome page. It
What is
relates
it?
to the election.
Ooh.
It's if it's not right, don't do it. If it is not true, don't say it.
Ooh. That should be hung in the White House.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm gonna.
That I like that one right now for this time period. And go on that note, the listeners should go watch the Van Jones video too. Van Jones, he kind of talks a little bit like that about in similar ways of that quote. He's just saying it, it means something to have character.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to be a Trump or a guy like that, but it means more whether you like it or not to actually be a stand-up person at the end of the day. I don't care how much people try to take that away, but it is.
That's what you guys should be living your life by. Is
Mhm.
good character.
Good character, and don't say don't spread lies. We're all guilty of it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a process to work on getting rid of that.
The more you work at it, the better you'll get at it.
Of not lying.
Not lying.
Lying's just so easy to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
So much easier than the truth. It's easier to lie about even small things than to just say the truth. That's so odd. That's a topic for another podcast. So lying, that's what we'll talk about the next podcast.
I'll
Lying, because it's so easy to do, man. So easy to do. But we're coming up on an hour, 20 minutes now. Probably time to give the listeners' ears a rest.
set.
Um, on that note, any last words?
Nope, I got all mine out.
Nothing?
Nothing except that quote. Jot down that
That quote.
quote, guys.
Yep, jot down the quote, rewind it, re-listen to it. And that's the end of this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Nathan,
And I'm Preston.
and we will see you guys next week.
See you next week, guys.